Very nice. Welcome to our meetup, Alak. Is that how?
Yeah.
Would you say Alak or Allah?
Allah.
Allah.
ALA.
Okay. Okay.
Not
That's
not as in Allah the God, but Allah. Just
yeah,
ALA.
yeah. I understood Allah. Beautiful. So you're in the your city is very borders. You're sharing border with South Africa.
Yes.
So from your capital city, are you able to travel to South Africa? I see Johannesburg is closest for you, the big city in Africa, in South
Yeah,
Africa.
it is. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, we
easy.
are able to travel. Yeah.
So what about the restrictions in the border? Like, is there any difficulty to travel or?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't need a visa. I just need my passport. That's
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody was
Yeah.
visiting Botswana, they can use their passport to travel to South Africa, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Maybe in future we'll have a look at it and see if I'm traveling and I just wanted to know how it will be to do I need a visa or something
Yeah.
like that. Just trying to find out.
Okay.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
And yes, tell me about yourself in a way. Let's start with how you got into Bitcoin because you're one of those pioneers,
Yeah.
right? So just give us
Yeah.
some.
Give me a minute. I want to move away from the wind.
Surely.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to move away from the wind and into the car. Maybe it will be better.
Much better. Yes. And the sounds also very
Yeah. 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 I started my journey, I would say, in 2012. Though by then it wasn't like a full journey, because by then I was just concentrating on trying to find ways to make money to help my son, who was very sick and needed some money. I was hoping that I would be able to work online and make some money and take my son to India for a heart and lung transplant.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that's when, that's when I came across Bitcoin. So unfortunately, I ended up losing my son. He passed away on the 4th of April 2012.
Okay.
But I'll say he left me with a gift that is the gift of Bitcoin.
Oh,
Because after recovering in 2013, I started my first meetup. I called my friends and I told them that I have learned this thing called Bitcoin when I was doing some researches online to make money for my son,
okay.
and I came across Bitcoin. So I thought, okay, let me take the skill or the information I learned and try and see if I can empower other people with it. Because initially it was also about helping someone. So instead of now it's not my son, but I can help other people. So I called my friends, and I think there were 10, about 10 of them or so. And I started teaching them about Bitcoin. What I know that I did not have like a lot of information, but I just went ahead and I did it. And from that's when like the growth and the community was built out of, me trying to share what I had learned. And it has been like that since, from learning about Bitcoin for my son, and now I'm now doing it for everybody, not for my son, but for everybody.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a touching story. I'd never heard of any story similar to that. So at the time when you were trying to raise funds for your son is when you came across Bitcoin, I would say.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So did you get some
yeah.
traction at the time? Was there some people who were happy to send across? Because I know sending money, even when you need it, it's the hardest thing. I'm talking about people from outside your country. From your country,
Yeah,
maybe it is easy.
but that time it was just me and my laptop. So I didn't like involve anyone. I'm just like online. I'm saying, okay, let me try and work, and I come across this thing called Bitcoin. And the most unfortunate part of it is I met a scam website, and I was concentrating too much on that website. And the moment I made the money, when I was supposed to withdraw the money, they started saying, "Oh, do this, do this, do this survey." I never really made money out of it.
Yeah.
So I never raised any actual money out of the website that I was concentrating on. I was concentrating on a scammy website. I did not even know. And during that time, there was not even a community of Bitcoiners in my country. So there was nobody that I knew who was doing Bitcoin or anything. So it was just me and my laptop. So I didn't make anything. but I've just got knowledge. So that's the only thing that I'm grateful for, is even though I do not make money, but I got the knowledge. So the knowledge is the one that today I'm still running with. I'm still using that knowledge to, reach out to other people. So
Absolutely, absolutely. You're
that's,
one of the
yeah,
first movers, right? So there's always the first mover
yeah,
advantage. If not anything, you
yeah,
have an immense experience of 12 years of Bitcoin. That itself helps you in the
yeah,
future. I'm always up for that, and I know how it is. And I can understand
yeah,
in the beginning days, you would have liked somebody telling you also, or like helping you understand a little bit more. That's what is missing. Now
yeah,
that you are aware of it, I'm sure you're using it to help others. That's I can see.
yeah, I am definitely
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah, great stuff,
Yeah,
great stuff. Um, it's one of those, right? Everybody has a story about their Bitcoin, how they started off for the
yeah,
first time. Yeah.
yeah.
So, any favorite memory that you have of Bitcoin time from to the last 12 years?
Yeah, I think for me, it's the first time I attended the Bitcoin 2014. I mean, the conference, it was Bitcoin 2014. Yeah, and it was one, it was the first time for me to travel outside the country,
Oh, okay.
in like far away. Yeah, and so it was the first time for me to be on a flight. So that was 2014. So that was the experience that I was given by Bitcoin for me to fly for the first time, and also to fly as far away as Amsterdam. So it
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
first time
yeah,
for me.
yeah.
And then it was the first time for me to be, among a lot of people who are doing Bitcoin. So for me, that will always be like the best memory ever, Bitcoin 2014.
Of course.
So that was the best memory. I'll still cherish that moment.
I would
And I
say,
was
yeah.
watching, a few days back, I was holding a piece of paper that I printed out. That was the Amsterdam conference, and it was like an agenda. And I was looking at it. I said, I still have this thing, and it's 2024, and I'm still holding that paper from 2014. So it holds like a lot of memory for me, and I will always cherish that moment,
Very
always,
right, very
because
right.
I got to meet a lot of people. So I will always cherish Bitcoin
Yeah, yeah.
2014,
Even at that
always.
time in 2014, all the Bitcoin was still pure. It was not colluded yet, and the people would
Yeah,
be the right one. Also, since you said you went out for the first time, Amsterdam would have been a great place, great first place to see, first outside country.
yeah,
That would have been a
yeah.
good experience. So, did you get any like a compliment from anyone from in the conference there in 2014?
Like a what?
Like anybody complimented you for coming all the way to the conference?
No, I think for me, I met like a lot of cool people, amazing people that I was like, when I was reading about Bitcoin and I got to meet them, I managed to meet Roger Vey.
You did?
I managed
Oh,
to, yes, I managed to meet, oh, I forgot the name. Managed to meet,
Andrea?
there was a lady called Elizabeth Pulshay.
Yeah, yeah.
Managed to meet, there was a lot of people, and there was one black guy that he's still my friend even up to today. His name is John Karanja. He's from Kenya. So even up to today, he's still like my best friend. So
Oh, nice.
I met very cool people there. So I met Senkia Skinner. There were lot of amazing people that I met that are still my friends.
And they
Yeah.
did a lot of nice things in the Bitcoin space, including that lady that you
Yeah.
said, Elizabeth. She was the one who was part of Bitcoin magazine, if I'm not wrong at the time.
Yes, she is. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
is. Yeah, she is.
That's cool. That's
She
cool.
is one. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you about some three people who you like, the influential people from Bitcoin. I guess you already told one, which is Roger Ver. You know him,
Yeah.
you also met him. Any other two names that you'd
Yeah.
like to give that you met and who like are like
There are
influences?
people. There are people that are still like respect even up to today. Not that I don't respect others. I do respect them, but there are those people that really, had some sort of an influence in my life and some sort of an influence in my space.
Hmm.
There is Max Kaiser. There
Oh
is
yeah,
Stacy Herbert. There's Marvin Jones.
absolutely.
Um, there is Cynthia Skin, of course, and there are like a lot of people. There is Connie Gallup.
Hmm.
There is Roger Vay, he did also something wonderful for me for the center. There was a time that I was promoting Bitcoin Cash, and I still have some BCH t-shirts, and I still wear some.
Oh,
And
okay.
so those are some of the people that really I feel like they made me somehow to be where I am. They believed in me and had a chance to take me to Amsterdam. Like Elizabeth Flouché, those are the people that really like I can tell how they did. Roger and Elizabeth, I think they were very instrumental in me coming to Amsterdam. Max Kiza, Stacey Herbert, they've been supporting my journey in crypto and making sure that I run the center for the longest time. There's also Chris Ellis, who also like really helped me with my
I
first
know.
internet.
He's amazing, isn't
Yes,
he? Chris Ellis, yeah.
he helped me with my first internet. And Marvin Jones has been like the biggest supporter of SatoshiCentre for the longest time. I think from 2013 all the way to 2023, he has been like supporting me from all these years.
Awesome,
Um,
awesome.
so those are the people that I can like really. There are more than three, but
Yeah.
they've been amazing.
You
Yeah,
dropped some
they've been
names
amazing.
which really felt nice for me also because I was part of this Bitcoin. No, no, uh, I forgot the word now. I'm sorry. Chris Ellis and all those
Yeah.
guys were part of that, and I remember Chris Ellis
Start
giving.
join.
Sorry, go ahead.
Start join.
Start Join is
Start
one of
join.
them from Max, of course. But yeah, Chris
Yeah.
Ellis came on the Max guys show and he was showing off those small Raspberry
Yeah.
Pis that could be a
Raspberry
node,
Pis.
and then
Yeah.
you could have your own node for like as low as $100. So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So nodes means you don't have to be worried about the cost. So he was giving a option to have your own node
Yeah.
for such a low price, and I was like, I knew him before that, and once he came on the Max Kaza show, I was even more impressed about him. So yes,
Yeah.
those are the names I had
And and
forgotten.
and 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 right now he's running a permaculture farm in Botswana.
Chris Ellis is in Botswana.
He's running a permaculture farm in Botswana. Yeah.
Oh wow, this is news for me. Maybe
Yeah.
when I'm down
Yeah.
there in the future, maybe I would look up him. Of course, I would be meeting you for sure, and I would love to be there too. Yeah. So, when did you get called as the Bitcoin lady? Because that's like the word that we have for you.
Yeah, I think because of the like the because during that time there were like very few Africans who were like involved in the Bitcoin space, and very few ladies also were involved in the Bitcoin space from Africa. And I was talking a lot about Bitcoin and how it empowers people, how it can change people's life. And people started saying to me, "Oh, Bitcoin lady, Bitcoin! Oh, you are the Bitcoin lady! Oh, yeah." Then I said, "Okay, nice one." So it became like it
The only
became my
lady
Twitter
who talks
handle. I
about
said, okay,
Bitcoin. So yeah,
that will be my Twitter handle. Then I became Bitcoin lady.
awesome,
That's
awesome.
how it started.
So this is like just before you started your Twitter, did you? So you got your name for your Twitter.
Pardon?
So this was just before you started your Twitter account. People started calling you Bitcoin
Yeah,
lady, and you used it. Oh, that's
yeah.
very cool. So, would you like to give us a couple of lines or tell us about your Satoshi Center?
Yeah, the whole idea of Satoshi Center was to have a space in the beginning. When I started, the vision was to have a space where people can really physically come and meet somebody who is actually doing Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because when you look at Botswana, for example, there are a lot of scams that are moving around. People don't know what is right and what is wrong. People don't know what is the right crypto to follow and all that. So the Satoshi Center was a space, number one, where we do all our meetups and people can come physically and visit us and learn about Bitcoin. And as the ecosystem was progressing, I turned it into a blockchain hub. So the whole idea was, okay, fine, Bitcoin for me is king. And but at the same time, I wanted people to like try and be innovative and be able to like build stuff. And if they want information, let's say for example they want to learn a little bit more about using Bitcoin Cash, or they want to learn about XRP, or they want to learn about Stellar. And there is a Stellar. Stella is looking for ways in which they can reach out to the people in Botswana. Then they can use my center
Yeah.
and they can have their meetup in my center.
Okay.
So that's how the center became. It became a place where innovation happens in. When you want to learn about ICP, you want to learn about the knowledge. It was about, it's knowledge based. It's like broadening your mind so that you don't say, okay, oh, I've only heard about Bitcoin, but you don't really know what is happening. And when you say Bitcoin is the best, what makes you say Bitcoin is the best? You can only be able to say that if you have been given a chance to like understand any other protocols that exist out there, or
Absolutely.
any other technology that exists out there. So the center became like that. It became a place where people come for knowledge, and where a center where innovators can rise from. So that's what Satoshi Center is today. We're trying to become that. It's not easy. It's difficult. Being out there and trying to run something alone and stuff, and it's hard. But we are hoping we won't die. The center won't close, because many times we've been speculating to close it because it's not easy to run it.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. Only God knows.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I hope some, marketing happens for you through this
Yeah.
video that we are doing, and maybe we get some more, traction for your Satoshi Center. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I will look forward to
Yeah.
that, pushing out this video for that. Yes, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of place is very much needed. Is because a lot of people hear from the scam side of the Bitcoin, and they shouldn't get scammed about
Yeah.
it. The first experience of their Bitcoin should not be so bad that they get scammed and then lose their money and they don't, they lose hope.
Yeah.
Somebody comes to you,
Yeah.
they at least understand what it is and how to hold. Because I have seen your videos, you do talk about holding your own Bitcoin. You do talk about the wallets,
Yeah.
not like the
Yeah.
exchange accounts. You do talk about your
Yeah.
private keys. Those things are really helpful in the beginning stage,
Yeah.
because that's what is missing with the people, right? They don't get to understand the beginning and they just jump straight away to putting money into the
Yeah.
crypto. And the sad part is they would have put in money in a scammer's pocket. Like that's
Yeah.
the scammers
So
always
that's
are there. Sorry.
yeah. That's why I always say, w- depending on what you receive, the kind of knowledge you received first, the initial knowledge you received. If you receive the initial knowledge as Bitcoin as a get rich quick scheme, you're gonna understand it like that.
Absolutely.
So it's important the foundation that you receive first. So the initial foundation that you receive is the one that can make you as you progress in the journey of crypto. So that's why we try by all means that in the beginning you really understand what it is, know how to hold your own wallet, know how to hold your own tokens, know how to protect yourself, know how to protect your wallet and stuff. So when you teach you that, the foundation becomes very solid. So that when somebody comes with wrong information, you're like, nah, but what I had in the beginning is this. I bet that Bitcoin is like this.
Yeah.
So it's like having my own bank account. It's like holding my own money. So you understand it better. But when somebody comes to you to say this is a get rich quick scheme, you will understand it like that. So that even when you continue in the journey, somebody comes with the right information, you won't believe, because the foundation already was distorted. So it's about giving people the right foundation for proper
Right.
information.
See, even for me, I get criticism for a little bit to say that why you're doing such basic things in your topic, in your
Yeah.
meetups and things. But every time when I'm doing a meetup, I do get a lot of newcomers, and those newcomers do need the basics. If they don't get the basics,
Yeah.
like you said, they'll quickly fall for a prey to a scammer. That's very much
Yeah.
thing. But of course, the lot of meetups in the West have gone much ahead. They talk about the future of crypto and the latest that's going on. But the basics is also very much important for countries like ours, like for India and Africa. People are easily
Yeah.
can get scammed if we don't teach them the basics.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
So
do
we
you
need to protect them. Yeah.
totally, totally. You talk about the white paper, and you yourself promote the white paper when they come in.
Yeah. So one of the things that I had done in my the previous office, Satoshi Center, I had printed the white paper on the wall. So
Oh,
like
that's awesome. Yes.
on the wall, on the office wall, I did print out the whole white paper on the wall, so that when somebody gets into the office, they meet this big white paper for Bitcoin, so that they can start reading Bitcoin is a PHP and all that. They begin to read all that on the wall. So yeah, so that's one thing that I love to have that. In my new office, I haven't printed it yet because I didn't see where I can put it. But I just love having that white paper, like, so that everybody can just read,
Yeah,
and familiarize themselves with that.
because the first few lines
Yeah,
is the most important. They don't have to get into the tech part of it. The first few lines, it
yeah,
says peer-to-peer electronic cash system without the need of central
yeah,
authority. Those are the small couple of
yeah,
lines, which is which is really important in the white paper. I think for
yeah,
everybody. Of course, the
yeah,
later part is the more technical part, so technical guys
yeah.
can come in and learn about that.
No,
Absolutely.
the technical part they will learn about the technical part to the technical guys. But for the simple person, they have to just understand the peer-to-peer and the money flow. They just have to understand how it works and why it is important, to eliminate the third parties, to eliminate the middlemen. They just have to understand all that so that you are holding your own money, you are control, you've got power. It's not like the bank which can decide that tomorrow you no longer needed to hold the bank account. They can decide to chase you and say we don't need you at our bank, but nobody can chase you and say you don't need you at our Bitcoin. Bitcoin is it's love. I always say Bitcoin is a currency of love. I love calling it that because
Absolutely.
it doesn't discriminate black, white, green, yellow, everybody. So it allows everybody. So
That's
it,
perfect.
it doesn't how do you say, it doesn't put people on standard and say he's the best, this one is like that. No, when we are in a Bitcoin meetup or in a conference, we are all the same. We speak the same language. It unites us like that. So we speak the same
Absolutely.
language. So
Absolutely. That's
that's, yeah,
exactly what I liked about Bitcoin from the day one. I have videos of my own which I go back to, and I've been talking about
yeah,
Bitcoin being the revolutionary currency because that's how I learned about it in the beginning. So I,
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Uh,
yeah,
amazing to hear from you from the horse's mouth.
yeah,
So I'd like to talk about this point, which is very important, but of course it's very basic. But you're good at it. Let's talk about it. I wanted to know from you, what do you think about the seed phrase and the recovery phrase? Of course, it's also called memoric phrase and backup phrase. So there are four names for it,
mhm,
but it's very important
yeah.
aspect of any crypto learning. So I'd like you to give a few
Yeah.
words on that.
That's why we say not your keys, not your Bitcoins.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have your phrases, you don't have your keys, then the Bitcoins that you own are not your own. So that's why when you listen to some of the stuff that when I teach people, I tell them it's important to hold your Bitcoins in a wallet that you can control. That means where your mnemonic phrases, you are the ones who have them. Not like in you are holding your Bitcoin maybe in a centralized exchange somewhere there where somebody is the one who is holding the key. Then what happens if they disappear or they die? It means they are dead with your coins and they also disappeared with your coins. So you won't be able to have access to that. So it's important to always keep your phrases in a very secure place. Find ways, like for example, in other countries they'll talk about people having treasures, they're having ledgers, they're having all these hardware wallets. But when we talk about places where people in Africa or somewhere where they don't have actual access to those, like it's so difficult to get a treasure down here, it's so difficult to get a ledger. So in countries where people don't have those, you try, of course, to tell them about those so that those who are fortunate enough to be able to travel and be able to buy it, whether in South Africa or somewhere, they can buy. But for those who don't, find ways. I always make jokes. I'll say, write those phrases in a piece of paper, put them in a bottle, close it up, seal it, and go and dig it in the farm or somewhere there. It's safe. So I love saying that. You
Absolutely.
can't
Don't
have access.
abandon that because you added a couple of words.
You
There's
don't have.
even more beyond. Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
if
you
you
don't.
don't keep them in safe, you're not going to have them. And like you said,
Yeah.
it's for everybody. And like the ledger and the treasure, those hardware are for a few people only who can buy them and then order them. If someone is holding a
Yeah.
small amount of crypto and they shouldn't lose it, they should be just like knowing the basics about how to store their seed
Yeah.
phrase in a place where it's not in their phone again, not like a screenshot, but you physically write it down and store it. Yeah,
Not in a screenshot. Yeah, somebody was just posting right here and say they forgot their phrases. Yeah, it happened to the many people and many of us when you started, you lose your coins. So, but it's important, like I said, find the ways in which you can secure. If it means putting them in a bottle, sealing it, and go and dig somewhere, do that. I always So as long as that nobody's seeing what you're doing, that already something that they can go dig and check your phrase, ways in which you can secure your phrases. That's the most important part of your crypto journey. So not your keys, not your coins. Always remember that. Yeah.
There's a small experience that I have. Really, those
Yeah.
small users, like the users who have their own wallet been downloaded, they have secured their seed phrase, and they hold a small amount of crypto. These wallets never get really hacked, and it's actually the exchanges which get hacked and which get concentrated to hackers to work on. So these
Yeah.
individual wallets are not really bad, and it is very secure if you compare to other things. People can easily
Yeah.
secure their own personal funds without spending any money. Like free downloads,
Yeah.
and even the paper wallets are free. Like if you cannot buy a ledger, you can just download a paper wallet. Go to the paper wallet
Yeah.
websites. Depending on how you move your mouse, it generates a new address, a new set of private and public key, and that itself gives you a place. You can print that out. It's your own printer. Print it out. Store some of your crypto there as a cold wallet if you'd like to. Things are available. It's just that if you don't talk about it, people don't know. And when they look up online, they only think we have to buy a hardware. You know.
Yeah, but I always tell people though that even though these wallets that we download from the phone, like blockchain.com and all the rest, it's also important to always make sure that our phones are updated.
Yeah.
Also, that we avoid again to download things on the phones that we have our wallets on. So if you don't update your wallets, I mean you don't update your phone, you make and also your wallet, you'll make it prone to bugs and everything, and you might end up losing your coins.
Absolutely.
And also you have to make sure that your phone, you don't cluster it with a lot of downloads. We love downloading things. So some of the stuff that we download have good things that can fish our or get our tokens one or the other. So when your phone is for the tokens, I always say the phone that you use for the wallet, let it only be for that. Don't put a lot of stuff on it because you don't know what you are downloading. Some of this stuff, they've got things that can just end up stealing your coins. You wake up in the morning, you don't know what happened. So it's important again to always be super careful. More especially again for those that are doing altcoins and other these other crypto tokens. They'll be having wallets and all that. Be sure that the wallet that you are downloading is actually the right one. You might feel like you've downloaded the right one, but unaware you've downloaded the wrong one. Because
Yeah. Sometimes.
in Play Store or on iOS, there'll be like wallets that are not the actual ones. So you have to be super careful. Sometimes you ask if you can to say, hey, is it the right one for me to download, so that you can be sure, so that you don't end up
Absolutely.
losing your stuff and messing up your stuff. Yeah.
So in my meetups, I do say about this one point. If you download a wallet and if you're getting a seed phrase to write it down in the beginning itself, that's more or less the genuine wallet because no other wallets
Yeah.
usually give you those kind of seed phrases. And if you have a doubt, you can use
Yeah.
those seed phrase, open another phone, use that seed phrase,
Yeah.
open another wallet on another phone because those seed phrases
Yeah.
work between multi wallets. Like you don't have to open the
Yeah.
same wallet. And when it works, then you know your seed phrase is secure, your wallets are right. Now you can store your crypto there. And those
Yeah.
things help. But you won't believe very small people, of percentage of people listen and understand these things. Even though they understand
Yeah.
at that time, I have incidents where my friends have bought crypto and they have
And
lost their private keys, lost their seed phrases. They've not secured it clearly. So what they do is when you're telling them yes, they believe that yes, it's important. They have kept somewhere. After that, they've totally forgotten and lost that piece of paper and lost that thing. They've not realized it till something happened to their phone. And when that happened to their phone, they're not able to get their crypto. Then they go looking for this paper, which they don't even know how it looks because they've not put any thought on it. Uh, and
yeah.
it's such an important thing. It's like your, I would say, passbook or a checkbook of your bank. But people don't think
Yeah.
that it is as important when you tell them.
No.
And I always tell them after that, everybody pays a price for their learning, and this is your
Yeah.
price you paid for your learning. Whatever that you paid, sometimes they have
Yeah.
spent up to okay, $150 is okay. Some people have spent up to $400-500 to buy their first crypto, and they've lost it. So I have to tell them that, man, this is your learning price. You paid that price to
Yeah.
learn about it. Now you will see, you will never make another mistake. You will make sure that your crypto is
Yeah.
seed phrase is safe. Yes, of course, they have learned it from that, and they have secured it later. But I guess everybody
Yeah.
has their price to pay, right? When you mentioned about
True.
blockchain.com, before it was called the blockchain.info, I used to have some funds there, and then this is 10 years ago, right? And blockchain.info
Yeah.
also went on upgrading themselves, like you said. I did not follow that up properly, and I lost some funds because of even I learned it. So obviously, you know how it is, right? Those things are the things you have
Yeah.
to make sure you keep up. And I've learned like that, so I see others also learning like that. By losing a little
Yeah.
bit, you learn, you pay for that. Anyway, I was
Yeah.
going to ask you
Then
about.
you know which wallet is best for you from that.
Yeah,
So you know that okay, I cannot go for this one, then I can go for this one. It makes you to learn. Everybody who's promoting their wallet will be like, this is the best, but you are the person who will learn which one is the best because you learn from the experiences that you get from using this wallet. Then you know this one it is good. This one, yeah, it might be promoted, but it's not the best that I can use. So you'll be able to like choose the best wallet from the experiences that you go through.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, you were talking
Yeah.
about very much in depth about people using it and experiencing using crypto. But from my experience, what has happened is there are a lot of people who know about crypto, who bought crypto, who you hold it, who trade with it, but they've never actually used it for payments and settlements from their own wallets. They have done it on their
Yeah.
exchange, on their centralized exchange. They think they have done transactions on it, but actually they're not
Yeah.
even a transaction. Those centralized exchanges are just moving numbers for you, but they are holding it personally in their own custody.
Yeah, for
When
you.
you
Yeah.
actually send from your own wallet, from your own custody, is an experience that you get. That's a no match.
Yeah.
That match, that
Yeah.
experience is very useful for crypto future, right? For yourself.
Yeah. So like when you let's say maybe you paying for something, you paying for a service using crypto, there is that satisfaction that you get. Like you feel like, man,
Man.
this is beautiful. Yeah, you get that
Absolutely right.
satisfaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So but the only disadvantage sometimes with Bitcoin is when the network is slow and congested sometimes and after you try to send,
Yeah, yeah.
it takes so long for it to get
Absolutely,
verified.
absolutely. There is no
That's
more
the only
waiting around. For me, I do not believe in Bitcoin anymore for a reason because Bitcoin for me was instant and cheap transactions, but it is not like that anymore. Yes, it's a great asset. I still hold Bitcoin as an asset for me. I put that Bitcoin in an exchange and trade with it sometimes, but I don't now take too much serious about using Bitcoin for payments and settlements. I do use BCH, I do use Litecoin, I do use a few other, which works quickly. But yes, Bitcoin has done that, which left a little bit of sour taste in my mouth. But hey, that's just new. But the idea is already understood by all of us. Whoever continues to, uh, make sure that the initial idea of Satoshi is followed like peer-to-peer electronic cash and without any central authority. Those two things is like the key.
but yeah,
I'm
able
sorry,
to like
your
send
voice was
it's
breaking
more.
for this
Yeah.
one and a half minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. So I was going to ask you a piece of advice. I think you already gave enough for the people. And
Yeah.
let's go to the next one. What do you think about the 2025 year? There is some importance to that year. What do you think about it?
For the year 2025, that's after the Bitcoin halving.
You
Because
know it
Bitcoin halving is happening. It's Bitcoin halving is happening this year.
this year. Yeah.
And yeah, people really speculate, they speculate a lot on prices. So I'm not much of a speculator. So I don't really know much on trying to read the chart and trying to understand how the prices how it's gonna be affected in the future and all that. So my biggest interest is to see innovation happening. If there is innovation happening, people are coming up with innovations. It's the most beautiful thing for me. If we are able to come up with something that can help somebody from Africa to send, they've got parents who are like in the diaspora in the US or wherever, and they send money to their kids, or we've got kids in overseas trying to send money to their parents in Africa. if this innovation is able to help that, to make it easy without people going through this exuberant fees that you experience when you're trying to send, whether maybe it's Western Union or MoneyGram or whatnot. So but if we've got innovations that are really helping and making it so easy for money to move around, there is the what do you call remittance is happening
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
So that's what gets me excited. I think that's the whole idea, the initial idea of Satoshi, which I believe a lot of people are trying to really trying to really achieve that.
yes,
I always say there's a difference between us, like some of us who, like in the long time we started and we're pushing this education thing, and what is happening now. I feel like we are no longer really, it's my own view. It's not. It's
by
my
all
own
means.
view. I feel like we are not really trying to chase as much education as possible. We are not trying to educate people as possible, but we are trying to chase uh, to make ourselves as rich as possible.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. You said it right.
yeah, nowadays it's all about, okay, how much money I can be able to make. Yeah, that's it. If I can come up with a meme token, I can come up with whatever. That's all about. And people are not really educated. Like, that is why nowadays you'll find like somebody will be like, oh, I know Bitcoin, but when they start talking to you, like, nah,
Mm,
you don't know it. You don't know it.
mm,
Because we are no longer pushing education. I always say education is the key to adoption. When you educate the people,
absolutely.
that's when we'll have adoption. But as long as we ignore the education side of Bitcoin, or the education part of crypto, we are missing the key. The key is, let's get people educated, let them understand. Let's have those meetups. They used to be fun. When we have meetups, people come and we chat. We talk about innovations. We talk about the problems. We talk about the size of the blocks of Bitcoin. We talk about those things. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But nowadays it's more economical.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
how
Everybody is
much money
thinking
are we
of making money,
making?
and because they know crypto,
That's
they
what
want
we
to think
focus.
that yeah, I will.
Yeah,
Let me just put my time in making money on that crypto because I know it. But nobody
yeah,
wants to bother about the education part of it and
yeah.
teaching
So
people
adoption
about it.
is education. Without education, there's no adoption. How what
Absolutely,
can people,
because
will people adopt something that they don't know? They have to know for them to adopt.
yes, yes.
So we need to give them the knowledge.
Sadly, there is adoption, but adoption is only for trading. Adoption is only for speculation, or adoption is only for believing that the Bitcoin is like a money making tool. But that's not the right adoption. What you said is 100% right about the education part. Is I try and push
Yeah,
that. I'm a very small fish in this ocean, but I guess I do my best.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and with you being part of this meetup, we're going to make a little bit more than two small fish together. Like that, that's what I think.
yeah,
Thank you very much for joining.
yeah,
But yes, you said a couple of things I'd like to elaborate on that. You did mention that it is really a useful tool, like when you replace Western Union and you use cryptocurrency. Um, there is an actual example that has been happening. So 2 years ago, Saint Kitts and Nevis, it's a small island in the Caribbean. They have
mm-hmm.
cruise liners docked there, and they have a pretty huge, amazing, lifestyle there, like the Western world. And because they have
Yeah,
such a bright lifestyle, they do not produce
yeah,
anything. So most of these islanders they buy and sell, and so because they buy and sell everything from outside, they transact money every time outside. Because they use the money to transact every time outside, there used to be a lot of queues in front of Western Union in their country, in St.
yeah,
Kitts. After the politician, one who understood cryptocurrency so well, he understood that the peer-to-peer electronic cash is the key. Instant, cheap transaction is what's going to help the island. So when he understood that, he promoted in that island. When he did that, there's a lot of adoption that's been happening now of Bitcoin Cash in that St. Kitts Island. That's helping a lot. So what has recently happened is the finance minister of that island kind of noticed that there are less people queuing up in front of Western Union now because a lot of
yeah,
islanders are using cryptocurrency. They're using Bitcoin Cash. Key is in Bitcoin Cash, you can send small amounts for cheaper fees and also more or less is instant. Depends on how you take
okay,
it. I take it as a confirmation because for me, zero confirmation is good enough because on mempool, there is no way
yeah,
to go back. So I'm happy to take the confirmation at zero. If somebody wants to wait, they can wait one confirmation or three. Maximum is 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes is confirmed. 30 minutes is a very good time, right? Otherwise, internationally, it takes 3 days average. And from 3 days, it drops to 30 minutes is amazing. For me, it is dropped to zero. Like I'm on a zero count thing. So that part that you mentioned, it is really happening. And I think a currency like Bitcoin Cash is really pushing for this adoption. You know, there is a Bitcoin Cash conference that's coming up or a meetup that's coming up in Slovakia. Please do reach out to the BCH developers, BCH, adopters, and the persons who are doing this conference. I'd love you to go and travel there also. Maybe then you will get a little bit more idea of what's happening in the latest. Because in Europe, there is one country which is Ljubljana. I'm sorry, Slovakia, Slovenia. It is not Slovakia, Slovenia, and the capital of it is called Ljubljana. And Ljubljana has got a very good adoption of crypto, and they're big in Bitcoin Cash adoption. Yeah, yeah. And that's not the only country, I must say. Ljubljana is one of the big cities. Then you have Townsville in Australia. There's a very big on adoption in Bitcoin Cash. Then you have Venezuela, Argentina, St. Kitts and Nevis. That's the other one that I was telling you about. These countries have real adoption because they have a real need. In Venezuela, the need is totally hands down, definitely needed is because the government launched this petrocoin and the petrocoin didn't really take off very well because they started to inflate the petrocoin too, and their own currency is fighting the devaluation against the US dollar because the Americans and the Venezuelans are having a conflict. In between all this, the real need of cryptocurrency was there, and Bitcoin Cash caught on to that, and those countries are doing well. Anyway, now let's get back to you. And so yeah, the other part that you said about 2025, I know you understood it clearly, very right. It is the year after the halving, and every time year after the halving, the price has gone up. The history has shown. In 12 it halved, and 13 the bull run happened. In 16 it halved, and 17 bull run. We saw the 21 bull run. Now I'm expecting a 25 bull run. I'm very bullish on that. I do not. I would like people not to take this as a financial advice, but it is the history that I have seen, and I know the
Then
history.
because then they'll come for you and say, "Hey, you told us."
Well, I'm telling you my experience. That's my history. My history with Bitcoin starts in 2010. So I know what I'm doing, and I saw what I saw. I bought it in 2011 on bitcointalk.org. That's the forum that was available then. The only other place I could have bought it was Mt. Gox. Luckily, I did not buy it on Mt. Gox. I wanted small amounts. I wanted to interact with people, and I bought it from three different sellers on the forum. And that helped me understand a lot more because that helped me set up my own wallet. That helped me see all the features that Bitcoin has in payments and settlements. Mt. Gox may have not given me that experience. So with that, I carry that experience. 2025 is a bull run year for me. The reason because 2021 the price went up three times. In 2025 it has to go at least one time more because it has to go double. Double means it was around $60,000. Maybe $120,000 minimum. Because in 4 years, a lot of people came in, understood Bitcoin, and understood that it's a technology of the future and it's the money of the future. It's the money to be decentralized for the future because you don't want centralized money. The centralized money only takes the money to the war. Uh, and at least decentralized money takes it to the public, takes it to the economy development. So for those reasons, I'm looking forward to the bull run that's coming up in 2025. It's just my thought, of course. You know what you know. You know exactly it's the year of after bull
No, exactly.
run. So actually, I was going to come back to this question, which we already talked about. This is about which countries are you aware of where cryptocurrency has been adopted. I know I gave some names, but did you? Would you like to give any names if you know already?
I think that's the one I know. Is it Venezuela? Is it Venezuela?
Let's keep it
Oh,
with that
it's
because
really
that's
big.
where that option is really happening of Bitcoin Cash. Venezuela and Argentina and Slovenia, which is Ljubljana, then Townsville in Australia.
I haven't heard of Ljubljana and Slovenia, so that's like first time.
Okay,
That's like first time.
You know, you
Yeah.
went to Amsterdam, right?
But
And this place is even better than Amsterdam. I'll actually post one video for you later. This video
okay.
is of 2014, 10 years ago video. And in 10 years ago, they already had a Bitcoin adoption then. At that time, the Bitcoin was doing
Really?
really well. Yeah, yeah. So what happened was
Wow.
because Bitcoin was controlled a little bit more than usual, and then they made the fee go high. They restricted the block size, so they couldn't continue the way they were doing with Bitcoin. So they just quietly moved to Bitcoin Cash, and they're using Bitcoin Cash because all you want in a
Okay.
shop is you're paying for your coffee, right? Most times you're using
Yeah.
in those countries is for the coffee. You can't be paying and waiting long time for Bitcoin, so they just moved on from there
Yeah.
and using all of the currencies, not just Bitcoin Cash. They're using a few other to help in whichever helps in instant and cheaper payments. So that's the
Wow.
country for you. If you, I'm promoting that for you to go and see. It's happening in some 90 days from today. That means in 3 months' time
Okay.
that conference is happening. And all the best for you to try and get there. And whatever that I can do from my side, I will try and help.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
This is a question for you, of course. How often do you use your Bitcoin to make payments and settlements? I'm saying Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin. It's about cryptocurrencies that you have
Yeah,
in your
yeah, yeah.
wallet. How
I
often
get.
do you use
Yeah.
to make that payment?
So I haven't, like, for the longest time I haven't used it to buy, to like pay for small things like coffee and whatnot. But mostly I use it on on website like Traveler .com, where I pay for flights and cheap air, where you can pay your flights and accommodation with crypto. So those are the most two sites that I like normally to use. But as for paying like small things like coffee, which will be beautiful to walk in a shop and pay for your coffee, or you pay for your grocery, would be nice. I would love to experience that. I hear in South Africa there are places where you can buy
Yeah.
your coffee using Bitcoin. That's via a Lightning network. So I would love to experience that. I haven't experienced that part of transactions because it's not happening in my country.
I know.
But I would love to have that experience, where I just come and then I get into a kiosk. I'm like, okay, I'm buying, I don't take coffee, let's say a drink or water. And say, okay, let me get a drink, or let me get water. Then I pay with crypto. That will be my second awesome experience beside going to Amsterdam. I would love to try that one because I
Sure.
haven't I haven't done that.
Yeah. Because when
I
you're
haven't
using
done that. Yeah.
online, you're not really
Yeah,
involving another person.
yeah,
But when you go to a coffee shop, if the person is accepting and you stay there, then the
yeah,
people around you who's seeing it and you yourself and the shopkeeper,
yeah.
you feel a wow, right? Because it's instant and
I
nobody
think,
had to help that transaction to happen. That's a wow moment.
yeah, I think that's a satisfying experience. So one day when I'll travel to a place where they accept Bitcoin like that, or crypto like that, I'll feel the satisfaction in my
Yeah, I
heart.
think that will be double down on Ljubljana because there's so many places that they
Yeah.
accept. You'll be having that experience too of paying, which gives you immense pleasure, and also of the pleasure of
Yeah.
attending the conference. That'd be two
Oh
things
wow.
to to like.
That, yeah, that
So
would be awesome. Yeah.
any because I know some people do believe that cryptocurrency can be the global reserve of the future. What
Yeah.
do you think about that, and what crypto can be the global reserve of the future?
I think yes, it can. There's a lot of innovation that is happening, right? There's a lot of technologies that are rising, a lot of cryptocurrencies that are rising. Bitcoin, I trust it for uh, having the longest stay, and having existed for the longest, and having been tested over time. To say, okay, I can use it as my store value. So I love it in that way.
Hi, if you're able to hear, I'm really sorry that your voice and your video is stuck. We're not able to hear you. Hey, Ala, if you are able to hear us, uh, It's frozen for a minute or so, but not to worry. We can hang on and wait around. Uh, you may want to just like maybe switch off the video. It may work a little better. The small things I know, for other guys who are listening, sorry about that hiccup. I'm sure Allah will be back. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions to be asked, and I'm happy to ask Allah to explain what is your side of the story that you'd like to talk about. Hello, Giteshwar. Yes, what you said is true. I'm glad you agree on the points that we spoke about. Yes, the seed phrase is the most important thing. If you are like securing your own crypto, you don't want again going back to a method that somebody else can help you recover your funds. You should be able to recover your own funds, and for that reason, yes, you should write down and keep that securely. And a lot of people do take screenshots of that. I do not recommend that, because the screenshots then again stores back in the same phone, uh, and sometimes it's digital, so it can be leaked again or hacked and viewed by others. But when you write it down and keep in a place where you have your own safe, like where you keep your money, your jewelries, your cash, that means hard cash, you should just keep it along with them. And yeah, that's your seed phrase for you. So now that we've been going around talking about so much, and thank you very much for sticking around, Giteshwar and Mayank. You guys want to, unmute yourself and then continue this conversation? Go for it. Let's have a chat.
Yes, surely. Hi.
Hi, Giteshwar.
I'm not able to see the name. I think the only name is Insta Crypto there.
It's Vikram. I will just type it here.
Vikram. Okay, hi Vikram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just had few questions. I am just starting in the Web3 development. I have a few wallets in Solana chain. I don't have crypto blockchain yet. I mean Bitcoin yet. So I had questions like about regarding India. So I had heard that Indian government don't have any regulations regarding crypto, and so I don't think it's illegal or something, but probably it can come in future, and Indian government is also thinking of launching its own crypto. I don't. I think
It's called
I've heard.
CBDC, central bank digital
Okay.
currency. It can be construed as crypto too. There's no harm in that. But in ways, what you said, India doesn't have any regulation. India actually has got more regulation than other countries. That's what I think. India first in 2014, January 1st, it said Bitcoin is a wait and watch policy. We would like to see what happens. That is very good enough for me, because they said wait and watch means they would like people to use and transact and see how best we can regulate it. The next regulation came in as taxation. Taxation means that there is a TDS, which is 1% TDS on all exchanges, including us. When we allow you to transact on our exchange, we take that 1% every time when you sell your crypto for INR and deposit that crypto on your behalf to the government on your PAN number. That can be, if it is a lot of money that you've been deposited on your name, you can even claim back that amount when you do your filing, tax filing. So those two are important enough. There is also tax for income tax. If you made a lot of profit on your crypto trading, you'll be paying income tax. Those things are a good regulation itself to start with. What I mean by that is, if you paid tax and if you had a lot of TDS being paid on your behalf by exchanges, that means you're regulated. Whatever transaction that you did is genuine, and government knows about it because they collected the 1%. That way, it is kind of regulated. More regulations will come in future, of course. If you see, one country cannot jump a regulation too far, too fast, because all of the countries have to come together. Means all of the countries have to wake up from their sleep and then smell the coffee and understand the crypto is here to live, here to stay, because Banks don't believe in India that the crypto is here to stay, but the government, which is finance minister, she knows what crypto is here for. Because about 2 to 3 years ago, there was a conference that was going on. On the conference panel, Nirmala Sitharaman was there, and Kotak Mahindra Bank's head was there, and other people were there. And when the panelist guy asked a question saying that, "What do you think about the crypto future?" And the banker was thinking Nirmala Sitharaman was going to give a negative answer, but actually she gave a very positive answer. She said, "Crypto is here to stay. Crypto is the future. Something will come up, and then the idea of crypto will become global, and we will be using it in something of those lines." When she said, the bankers, the Kotak Mahindra bank guy's face became small because he's the biggest loser, right? He's thinking there should not be any competition for his bank. So he was well served by her, and thanks to her. So that way, if you see, a little bit of regulation is going on. Also, when you said you don't have Bitcoin but you have Solana, that's not the enough experience that you're getting. I understand that you may not be having Bitcoin, but there is a Bitcoin clone or Bitcoin brother or Bitcoin's real format. It's called Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash are started at the same time from the Genesis block. They had the same ledger. The ledger now is split into two in since 2017. But Bitcoin Cash continues to be the peer-to-peer electronic cash that actually Satoshi wrote. In Bitcoin, it is not peer-to-peer electronic cash anymore. It is more of a trading tool and an asset class. So asset class and trading tool is not mentioned by Satoshi. Why? Because Satoshi is very smart in economics. He knew the payments currency is the currency that will drive the economics of the world. The economy moves on how quickly we can settle between each other. Uh, for that reason, Bitcoin was made, but of course, Bitcoin was controlled to be slower and be expensive to use, so that is not for the common public. It's like American Express. American Express is not as popular as UPI, right? UPI is very popular because UPI is instant and UPI is cheap to transact. And with UPI, you can do small transactions. With American Express, what can you do in India? Only dine in five-star hotels and pay for five-star hotels, and that level and above. That's why I would say Bitcoin is not as popular as Bitcoin Cash today. Bitcoin Cash is the real cryptocurrency that's going to change the world in the future. And also, you were saying about Solana. Solana is a centralized coin. You should understand the centralized coins means it's controlled by somebody individually. And if he's not going to put in enough effort to make that robust, like how Solana just crashed again a few days ago before. It's not a currency for, or it's not a technology for you to follow. A technology, real technology for you to follow is Bitcoin technology, which is now followed in Bitcoin Cash.
That's interesting. Thank you for that information.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anything more you
Yeah.
want to talk about? Go ahead.
Uh, Bitcoin Cash, is it a wrapper around Bitcoin? Like, is it pegged on Bitcoin, or is it a different coin altogether?
No, it's a different coin altogether. So what happens with Bitcoin is a Bitcoin is a ledger. A Bitcoin is an idea. The idea is held on the ledger. The ledger holds the transactions of Bitcoin from the day one of Genesis block on 2009, January 3rd, it started. So every entry has been entered. So every coin that has been released is entered there, and the ledger holds all the records. When you download the whole ledger and you run your own mining or you run your own node, you hold the whole ledger, right? You know the history of Bitcoin and the whole legacy that's been happening. So in 2017, the whole same ledger split into two. A copy of the ledger on Bitcoin Cash started to get developed in a different way, where development of the Bitcoin Cash developers understood the Bitcoin Cash should be the currency of the future, like how UPI is. It should be able to send in small amounts, like say in equivalent in INR rupees. 10 rupee worth of Bitcoin Cash when you send, you're paying only 3 paise fee. It's the same thing when you send 10 crores worth of Bitcoin Cash, also you're paying only 3 cents as fee. That's the beauty of it. The transaction amount, fee amount is fixed and it is predictable. Those are things which helps in future. What helps in future means, what I mean by that is, if you set up an escrow, an automated escrow, in an automatic escrow, when you send a transaction, the escrow has a time bound work to do, contract to do. After 1 day or 2 days or whatever the time we have set on that escrow contract, after that, it'll release the crypto for it to go back to the original sender or to the person who should receive this crypto, because two people together have set up this escrow. And if I have sent the Bitcoin Cash on the escrow, it is sitting on the blockchain with a fee to be paid on it. I've already paid one fee to send it there. From there, when it disperses the crypto, or if the job of these two people who put the contract is equally done, so both of them have to get half and half. Two two fees have to be paid from the blockchain and then send that crypto across. So the crypto gets sent to me and to him instantly by paying another three paise fee. That is, since it's a small amount and a predictable amount of fee. This way, your predictable fee helps in future setups, future smart contracts. In Bitcoin, you cannot use that, and Ethereum also you cannot use that anymore, because today, if you send Bitcoin or Ethereum paying a high fee, we don't know what's going to happen in 2 days, how high the fee may be or lower. We cannot prepay such high fees for one transaction. You cannot pay three fees. In an escrow, you may have to pay three fees. That can be possible on Bitcoin Cash, but not on Bitcoin. So those are the few things which is limitation that is there in Bitcoin. What limitations mean? The limitation that you cannot have an instant transaction, a cheaper transaction itself is a bad taste in the mouth. So Bitcoin has not been developed to be that. Bitcoin has been developed to be the asset class, and Bitcoin is developed to be a trading tool. Means an ETF started right now. So the ETF guys will just hold the Bitcoin. They're not necessarily sending the Bitcoin across on chain. They just give selling you IOU kind of a thing, and speculate and manipulate the pricing. When in Bitcoin Cash, the way the developers have developed that you can hold your own Bitcoin Cash in your wallet. You can every time send and receive on chain. Don't have to depend on second layer like Lightning, because on Lightning, what you're trying to do, you're giving custody of your Bitcoin to a third party, a Lightning provider, and then you're able to do easy transaction, cheaper transaction. No way. Nobody has ever told that Bitcoin should be parked with somebody and then use it. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was made to be parked by yourself, hold it by yourself, and send and receive on chain, and have a transaction history that can be viewed by everybody on the ledger. That means if you've done a transaction and if the other party says no, I didn't receive, you can quickly just put that address on a block explorer and show it to him that yes, you received it. You sent me this address, you wanted my Bitcoin Cash to be sent to this address, I have sent you that, it is on the blockchain. So that means these are all on chain transactions. This is how crypto was made to be done. So in 2017, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash is just a clone of Bitcoin's ledger. The name Bitcoin stayed with Bitcoin's earlier ledger, and the same ledger from 2009, which was followed. A clone of it was taken by Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Cash moved on with the developers developing it to be the instant and cheaper alternative to send and receive money. Just like how UPI works. It works. It should work. That's the idea. If you see Bitcoin, it really doesn't work. For me, I have made some transactions in the past, in the recent past, where Bitcoin has been stuck for like weeks, months. You don't want to wait for that transaction for weeks and months, right? It should be instant. That's what this crypto is about. So that's the difference between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yes, I understand the importance of having it quickly, and yeah.
True, true. It's in a way when you do these escrows, right? Smart contracts. The guy who built a smart contract also should get a small fee, right? So in this recent smart contracts, when I make a payment to the smart contract and then from there it gets dispersed, there is a small fee which gets paid to even get 1% of that value to the person who's built the smart contract. So everybody can, enjoy this benefit of cheaper transaction. Because it is cheap, you were able to execute so many smart contracts that is unbelievable. In a real world, these smart contracts are very more useful. Yeah, that's where we are at the stage where people necessarily don't understand what's really going on in the crypto space. But yes, for the sake of small grants, people end up on developing on chains which are not necessarily decentralized and open source, like as open source as Bitcoin Cash can be. When I say Bitcoin Cash, it's always Bitcoin. The name Bitcoin Cash has come in is because of it's become a hybrid now, and it is now being hybrid means it has an alternative to Bitcoin. You can clearly now see what are the benefits that's coming out of Bitcoin Cash. if you compare to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin developers are not necessarily developing Bitcoin to be, the payments currency for the whole world. They're trying to restrict it that Bitcoin should be the payments tool only for banks and big companies and big institutions like ETFs and those things. No, Bitcoin is actually made for everybody. So if everybody has to transact on it, it has to be cheaper and it has to be instant, because instant is the way forward. Like how UPI is. UPI gives you an instant settlement. Is why if I send you 5,000 rupees on UPI, you can go and withdraw that money even on a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday night. But in banks, what happens if I do a transaction to you on a weekend? You may not really get this instant settlement. You will have to wait till Monday morning for them to clear that and then get the rupees. Same goes with credit cards. It takes up to 45 days sometimes for you to get your actual settlement. But the transaction says it's settled, but somebody else is holding the funds for you till that 45 days. It should never happen that way. Because there are mediators in between, they take advantage of all these situations and hold some funds for themselves. But if you see when there is no mediators, like how Bitcoin Cash works and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin were supposed to be working, if there are no mediators and I send it to you, you should have it instantly, and you should be able to re-spend and send it. That means you have the instant, you have the real settlement. So those are the things that if you keep in mind, you will know what currencies are actually doing those things.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, you said one thing about Solana being centralized. Is that true? Like,
Yes, it is. So
oh,
Solana has been launched by a single party, a single group of people. They control
yes,
the
yes,
supply of Solana. That should not be the case with any crypto or any commodities, because if somebody else is holding the supply of that, they can always supply more and then inflate the coin and devalue your holdings, right? So that is the reason why decentralized cryptocurrencies became popular in the form of Bitcoin in 2009.
correct. Yeah.
Cool. I'm not able to get hold of time. Okay. So it seems to be a decent amount of time. I'm sorry I'm not able to get back Alagnani, Ala, for that short form. I think her phone may have died or something, or the disconnection must have happened with the internet. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. And Jiteshwar, you are one of those who've been there for the longest time. If you want me to spend more time here and you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer you.
No, no, it's fine. I am also thinking of logging off.
Okay, okay, great stuff. Thank you very much, Jiteshwar, and thank you very much, guys. Have a nice weekend, oh man.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
weekend. Bye.
Thanks. Take care.